Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to this new session of the morning briefing. Let's start right away with recap of what happened yesterday, beginning with the Nasdaq, which we observed yesterday. A day of a sort of return, to the biddish initially, with prices going down. In short, they broke those important levels that we highlighted in yesterday morning's morning briefing. In short, they reached, very deeply. In short, even yesterday, the volatility was quite high, although the swings are reducing their amplitude. And so this could gradually decrease, like a pendulum that gradually, moves forward. In short, it decreases its inertia. We'll see, in short, what the developments might be. Today we have the PPI as a macroeconomic data point, so maximum attention as usual, as I've been repeating for a few days now, since all this started, this trade war. In short, we have to navigate by sight, so maximum attention, reduce the size. In short, don't forget that maybe from your brokers, my broker in the last week has increased margins 3 times. So this tells us a lot about the current volatility. It elaborates the epochal days we are witnessing. That said, as we were saying, there was this dangerous breaking of this important level, and then, fortunately, it was recovered upwards. Now we are working on it right now, just above, more or less. If we zoom out a little bit the chart, here it is. Maybe we increase it. Let's set it to a 4-hour time frame. We see that, the area from which it could have started, then the downward push, it started in all respects. The downward push that, at the moment is holding a little bit. The levels, and we will have to wait, because certainly a recovery to 18.8, so essentially the 19,000 area, a recovery above 19,000 could certainly bring the price to even attempt 20,000. Why not? Absolutely, but we need to pass this 19.3, 330, 340 precisely. The maximum was 19.386, so 19.380, 19.4. In short, it's the area to monitor for potential bullish breakouts, and of course it seems likely to say that this is always the maximum level, because even if we see here, there was a level break, but it was immediately recovered. You see that they are all shadows. This is a core to trick at 4 hours, so it flew due to the high volatility. It probably went, we can consider it a test. So at this moment it is starting again. We will see if we find the strength or maybe a new test downwards, but this level remains 18,274. So these are the two levels to monitor at the moment, in my opinion, on the Nasdaq, to understand where it might head. Otherwise, it remains in this limbo probably. All market noise driven by the great volatility of the moment. Remember that today is Friday, so double, triple, quadruple. Maximum caution. Let's protect our economic and psychological capital. Let's look. Okay. Going back, in detail, we are working within range BRC3, which is definitely that area that perhaps for the morning should maintain these levels with HW. In short, it has just been tested. The European markets have been open for about half an hour. So we monitor these zones. Let's move to S. Here it is. Just a moment, it's coming. Let's also look at it on a broader time frame. Here it is. Similar situation. In short, there's really not much else to add compared to what we've said for the Nasdaq. At the moment, this is the situation. This is always that level that was. In short, our first target of this first wave, then it broke it. In short, we have I deleted the target of the second wave, which was more or less in this area here around 5,000, around your 5,000. And well, now there has been this nice pullback to test the old level. We'll see if they then find the strength to make new lows, just as we were saying for the Nasdaq. The area to monitor is still around 55.60 here. For AIL, well, this area here is the one to monitor with this level BC3 5526. Well, up here, let's take a closer look. So the maximum is 5,520, 5,520, 5,530. So this is definitely the area to monitor for any bullish or bearish moves. Obviously, we are also monitoring this level here around 5,280. Roughly yesterday, the level we pointed out was 5,360. Quite a nice break, like 18,3, I think it was for Nasdaq. So those levels remain absolutely valid today as well. Let's move on to the other American futures. Here they come. This is the Dow Jones. Here it is. Let's also look at it on a chart, maybe a 4-hour one, to get an idea. Here it is. Well, yesterday it showed a bit more volatility. So it tested deeply, but well, anyway, then it's all shadow retraced of the candle. So essentially 39.5 remains 39.5, the 39.4. And 3 essentially remains the area to monitor because any break could lead prices to retest these lows. On the upside, we monitor this area of 41,000, which also represents this low. So, and this is definitely the area to watch. At the moment, the situation it's not very lively. This morning, well, even though the volatility remains good, during the night, however, there was a good recovery. Well, after an initial decline from 2 a.m. last night, I mean at 2 a.m. I'm talking about European time, clearly there was this nice recovery. Let's see, well, if they also broke the highs, well, then from yesterday's recovery, this could be a good sign, perhaps holding the HV level for new attempts towards RD2, which then represent, there are also these two levels BC3. And so this is definitely the area to monitor, as he said. Well, let's move on to oil. Here it is. Let's also take a look at the DAX and the Russell, which we haven't looked at yet. Just a moment brought forward. Here it is. This is the Russell. The situation, obviously, well, similar to the other American futures. At the moment, I would say these highs here, so 1888, 1900 probably. In short, this is the area to monitor. An initial break of this area could easily bring prices even towards a high area of today, obviously downwards. We are monitoring this whole zone here between SDZO and SD1. Well, some numbers between SD and SD1. Perhaps here also referring to these two spikes here that then coincide with the low recorded last week. Clearly, a break of these could definitely lead prices to retest this entire area of lows. This is for the Russell. A gauntlet. Let's look at the DAX. Right over here. Here it is. Right over here. Let's also see it on a 4-hour chart. Okay, a more or less similar situation it has come to test. Right here, exactly here, this area here, so the closing of this gap from last week. Retested, it went down, it retested these highs here, which then coincide with this support here, and it started rising again. Even here, well, even better, they just made a closure, let's say, a retest of the gap, as you can see, and then, well, the market started again. At the moment, it is working at the look at our detail, close to the HW level. We will see if they will find strength here as well. Well, what the scenarios might be, let's see. Well, it's all tied, as we have said many times, well, to the discussion of TRAS, the discussion of Amala, the discussion of TRAS, the discussion of TRAS, the discussion of TAR, discussion of DASI, well, that we are monitoring very closely. Well, let's move on to oil. Here is the oil. It is considered better compared to, well, it hasn't really received much compared to the others. It has recovered the level at this moment, but, well, it's still hitting a little bit on the head, as they say. In short, in jargon, we monitor this area here, which is certainly the one that could provide new spaces. So 61 and 50 could easily lead to the area of 63.80, 64, 63.80, 64. Downward. Obviously, we remonitor this area here of SD0 and SD1, which then represent these lows. Here, it could absolutely be, well, a range. This area, in short, could be, well, an exception of blurring. Here it happened in 2 days of oscillations due to the volatility. Let's move on to them. Here it is. To them, well, sparkling, this time setting new rules. It reached 3.2 and 40. So absolutely. Still pumping upwards. Just look at this sparkling. These were the lows made on the shadow. The triple bottom started. The break of the area immediately resumed upwards. It always remains pumped upwards. It also seems to me that on alpha, you need to always reiterate the same concepts. And as for SPX, the situation is obviously a mirror of what is for NAS, for the American futures. Retested in short. Yesterday, with this high in short in opening, nice retest of the level. Then down, now we are working here again. So a recovery for SPX. Let's say that this area here is 5,330, roughly like 5,360 is for ES, so 5,330, 5,320. In short, this is the zone to monitor for potential recoveries. Upwards. Downwards, obviously, in short, we monitor first of all these two levels here, which are old levels, 500, wind 505, 150, and 550. Roughly, a break of this could easily lead prices to a new test of the lows recorded. Tuesday, no Monday. So this is the situation regarding SPX. Perfect, we have reached the end. As always, we will hear from each other later in the chat. Leave a like on the video, and thank you all for your attention.